From about 1525 to 1866, 12.5 million Africans were taken from their homeland and forcibly transported across the Atlantic, a journey that approximately 2 million of them would not survive. By the turn of the 18th century, European merchants were building vessels capable of transporting hundreds of enslaved people per journey. These ships had extra portholes for ventilation, weapons mounted on deck in case of rebellion, and additional compartments added below deck to take on more human cargo.
Last slave ship survivor gave interview in the 1930s that surfaced almost 90 years later. 60 years after the abolition of slavery, an anthropologist made a remarkable discovery. She located the last surviving slave on the last ship to bring Africans to the United States. In his own words, a heartbreaking story of a young African man who'd been kidnapped from his home, crammed into a boat for months, and sent off to America to be sold as a slave. In the 1930s, Zora, an anthropologist, conducted many interviews with the last survivor, but she'd struggled to find someone who would publish her findings in a book. Black emancipation was the last thing people were interested in reading about. In fact, they're only now being released to the public in a book. Zora's book tells the story of Cudjoe, who was born in what is now the West African country of Benin. He was only 19 years old when members of the neighboring Dahomean tribe beat him, captured him, and took him to the coast to be sold off. When Cudjoe had been brought to the shore, as he looked around, men like himself stood on platforms, helplessly waiting to be sold. Within a few minutes, but what had seemed like days, Cudjoe and about 120 others were sold into slavery and crammed into the Clotilda, the last slave ship to reach the continental United States. The Clotilda brought its captives to Alabama in 1860. Were working on a boat, Union soldiers walked by and told them something Cudjoe never thought they'd ever hear. "You're free." Not sure where to go or simply what to do next, in a country that had been nothing but terrible to him, he didn't have a dollar in his pocket nor a place to sleep. Cudjoe expected to receive some sort of compensation for being kidnapped and forced into slavery, and was frustrated to discover that emancipation didn't come with the promise of 40 acres and a mule. Frustrated by the refusal of the government to provide him with land to live on after stealing him away from his homeland, he and a group of 30